Hey guys, NV2095, and today I'm bringing another Call of Duty gameplay. This time playing some TDM on the Stormfront. I'm using some gun in this game. I don't really care about that, but that's not what I'm even talking about. But it's not Octane, just so you guys know. Yeah, I know, not Octane. But so, as you can see by the title of this video, this is kind of why I'm just gonna esports. Esports suck. Like, it's not for the reason why you guys think I'm probably gonna say, like, oh, they're awful and like they're dumb and stuff like that. I actually love them, but like in this video I'm gonna talk about these major problems. I mean, I think they're major, and I think they're gonna hurt the growth of the whole like community and seeing how far they could possibly get. And I think that if we want them to change, I mean, if we make these changes, it can grow a lot further, and hopefully people will notice and try to get these things changed. But these are just my opinions, so don't be like, oh, you're completely wrong, because I mean, if you guys feel that way, then sure, I can be wrong in your opinion, but these are my opinions, and that's just the way I'm gonna take this. So first off, one of these problems is this is a problem you can't really stop, because it's the whole point of esports. Well, some of it is also online. The online part is just, you can't be, I mean, it can't really help, because like internet crashes, everything has to do with power, and if you don't have the power, you can't do it, and you can't just really cancel it because you crash out and like all your teammates don't. So like, it just, online just never helps. And even on LAN, you're still using like electronic equipment, so like the power fails, they freeze, they break, like stuff can happen. And like, unlike in real sports, if something happens, like, you kind of get a notice, and like the only major things that happen is like there's an injury, and these aren't like injuries because these are like the equipment failing, and you have no real way of noticing beforehand that it's about to fail. So you kind of just have to be like, oh well, that sucks, gotta restart from where we're going. And like sometimes you just can't, especially like online, then you just kind of forfeit and lose. So that's just a major problem, and that's the ones that actually can't be changed. You can make the stuff more reliable, the online stuff more reliable, but it'll never be good enough so that it's like 100% of the time that it won't freeze and stuff like that. The best PCs still freeze, the best Xboxes still freeze, and all that stuff. So it's just, I mean, it's just gonna happen. You can't really stop that. Another problem with this, with especially Call of Duty, the pros mainly only play against pros. There's times where they play against non-pros, but that's not really even fair because it's online. The majority of the time it's going to be online, and like they're in tournaments, and people go in and being, oh, they're pros, we're done, and they have better internet than we do. So like, even if you think you have a chance, you won't really, and there's no way of you getting noticed off of it, because like when you watch scrims of like Call of Duty pros, they play with just other pro teams. I mean, it makes sense, you want to scrim against the best teams, but there's no way of your team getting noticed unless you have to grind so hard, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And also, because they only play with pros, the people like they pick up, like say if they drop a teammate, change some rosters, like roster changes, they're not going to pick up somebody from the community that's an amateur that has kind of like shown himself, but like hasn't really done much, but like wins a lot and stuff like that, really good online. They're not going to pick you up because you haven't proved anything yet. So you have to go to countless lands, and it's just like you have to get really lucky that you get into like an organization that eventually becomes pro, and then you get picked up by other pros. It's something I'll go in a little bit. But the one thing, some esports like League of Legends and StarCraft 2, these are two that I actually like pay attention to. There is a way kind of for you to get noticed, because there's the Challenger and Grandmaster. Challenger in League of Legends, it's the top 200 solo queue players, so you can tell that they're really good mechanically. And there's just, you know that they'll eventually be good enough. Like, hopefully they should be good enough. They just don't have the team aspect. In Call of Duty, you can't even tell that. Like, there's no way of knowing, because like there's no league play system. Even the league play system, like in Black Ops 2, if you were Masters, that didn't mean anything. Like, I was Masters all the time. Doesn't mean a pro team was going to pick me up just because I was Masters. And StarCraft 2, obviously, same thing. It's like Challenger. The players in there are pretty good, and most of them go pro. That one actually has nothing to do with teamwork. It has nothing to do with teamwork. It's also those things. So like if they're beating pros from NA, and they're pretty good up there. They usually will do that too. So, I mean, if Call of Duty could ever do something like that, then it would really help. But I don't see that happening in the future. So, whatever. And then there's very little support for the amateur scene. This kind of goes back to the pro thing. Like a lot of the tournaments, there's pro brackets and there's like amateur brackets. So the amateurs never actually get to play the pros, or if they do, they get first rounded, and it's just impossible. So like, there's no way if you're getting your name out there unless you get into like the pro bracket and all that kind of stuff. And there's also like the pro point system in Call of Duty. You have to pay for those pro points basically, and even if you do, you probably don't have as good as the internet, and like your team's not all pro caliber probably. Like you might be, but your team most likely is not a set for pro team. So then you go into the 2Ks and 5Ks and you just get wrecked because all the pros playing it, and those are where you get the most points. And like the other like 250 ones, sometimes some pros even playing there. So you just don't get the pro points that like the pros get. So I just don't think it's fair. This one's a little bit of a stretch. There's no farm system, if you guys know what I mean. There's like a minor league kind of thing, like especially in baseball, they have a ton of league. They have like AAA, AA, single A. The NBA has a D league, and the NHL has a bunch of farm leagues. That really helps because like you get to see the growth of the player and how they work with the team. There's none of that in like any competitive sports for the majority of them. Esports, competitive esports, so it's just kind of, I don't know. It's something I would like to see changed, but I don't see that happening because teams would actually have to have a lot of money to grow these players, and it just doesn't work. And what goes back with the support and the pros, playing with pros, you have to pay to get known. Like, you have to pay a lot to go to LAN. If you get the sponsors, if you somehow get a sponsor, you've paid kind of your way up to get that sponsor. You have to play a lot of tournaments and stuff like that to get yourself noticed, and all the like sponsors will want to see that you have important like tourney wins and stuff, online tourney wins, and like maybe even some LAN experience. So see, you have to like pay your way to get where you want to be, because like all the 2Ks are paid. Like you have to pay to get into them. Most like really important online tourneys are gonna be you have to pay to get into. There's some, like, obviously if you win small tourneys, like, they're free and you get some money, you can obviously make money that way, but to like go towards these higher tournaments. But it's just really hard because like those small tourneys aren't going to even pay out, or they're like something not that important. You also have to pay for the best equipment, like Astros, like new Xbox, scuffs for Call of Duty, and then gaming is just like PC gaming, you have to pay for the best computer, best mouse, best keyboard. Like, especially for Call of Duty, the scuff and the Astros, like an Astro quality headset, is like required now. You can't go around and not have one. So it's become required, and you have to have it. Also, new organizations are hard to come by, and a lot of the good players have to leave. Like, leave if they get a better offer, because they're like, oh, this is my chance to prove myself, I better go to this tourney or this other team. So the organization usually disappears after like their players leave, or they just have to restart from the beginning. So there's like no loyalty, and it's just really hard. So I hope you guys liked the way I thought, and if you like it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you don't, if you have these feelings, just comment. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed, so I'll see you guys later.